It was at Pensacola Christian College. It's your average Christian college, but it's got a few differences, like the rules and regulations can be a little more strict, and some of the buildings are older, but that's normal compared to most colleges. I wanted to be able to branch out into something more me, because my entire life, I fall into what my parents expect of me, and I thought I'd do something new with my life, like watching scary movies, or maybe going out and about by myself into town for once, maybe trying to be responsible with my own money, just things that your average adult would do. And on the top of my list was, of course, watching scary movies or doing things like listening to podcasts. And obviously this Scary Story podcast was the first one I listened to. It was in 2021, of last year, October 28th, I believe. It was getting close to Halloween, and some of my friends were telling me they're gonna watch some scary movies on campus for Halloween to get set for the mood, because the college doesn't celebrate it, and they don't allow costume dress-ups or movies itself on campus. You had to be sneaky with that. But I decided to get it with my friends, because, why not? Try something new. And the first scary movie I ever watched was the very first Paranormal Activity. That, I was shook after that. I like the aspect of movies when it feels so real. It felt so real, just the environment, the aspect of it, and I really did enjoy it. But obviously, nothing weird happened immediately afterwards. My parents would always say, if you watch movies like that, it could let something into your life, blah, blah, blah. But I never took it for something that serious. Now, do I still take their word for it? No, I still enjoy scary movies to this day. But I remember there was that first time, some unexplained things would happen. I was working at a maintenance warehouse at the time on the campus. We would go and fix things. I would get off work closer to 10 o'clock in the afternoon after the chapels and everything had gotten out. And I just wanted to go back to my room, change, get a quick nap before going to my next class. It's a big long hall, lots of guys. On my way back down the hall towards my room, I thought I heard my best friend from behind me call out my name. It was super weird. I just yelled back, "Hey Ethan, how you doing?" And I looked back and there was no one there. So I was a little bit nervous about this, but I wasn't shook or anything. It was just, okay, that's weird. I went back down the hall just for verification. I didn't want to sound like a nut job or anything. I went down the hall. I asked some of my friends on the hall when I knocked on their doors, "Hey, have you seen Ethan?" And they said he was gone, but they didn't tell me where. I decided to check out the lobby, and there was no sign of him. But then I checked the class schedules of my friends, and I remembered that he has a class at that time, so I thought that was super weird. Because either I actually did hear him, and he was just late for class, which is very unlikely, or heard something else call my name, and it sounded like him. Then about a week later, and this was after I'd heard my name called, from different voices of people I recognized, just in random places, at work, at Sonic down the street, the drive-thru, movie theaters, just random places. The big thing that definitely set it in stone for me, I went back to my room, and it was in the evening, and all my friends, which I didn't remember till later, they had gone out to do something. I decided to take a shower when nobody else was in the room, because I like to play the music in the background that's loud, just get myself ready to go for class or for dinner. I get in the shower, and I'm cleaning myself off, and I heard the door to my room from outside the bathroom open and then close. I was too comfortable. I just wanted to finish my shower, get ready, and just leave and just go do something fun. I remember the door opening and then closing again. But as I'm just about finishing up, I called out and I said, "Hey, I'm in the shower, leave me alone." And then there was no response. So I just waved it off as, okay, maybe I'm just hearing things. This is how I know this is not normal. The shower had those porcelain tiles on the walls, on the ground, and the sheet, I'm going to call it that. The sheet, if the sheet got wet, you could stick it to the porcelain on the sides, to keep it closed because it was one of those like super wrinkly types. I took the curtain and stuck it to the sides after I'd called it to my friend or whoever I thought was out there. And I just stuck it there, went back to my shower. But the weirdest thing happened afterwards. This is maybe 5 minutes afterwards, because I remember because the song I was listening to in the bathroom, which was playing from my laptop, it was on rewind. So I'd hear the same song over and over again. That curtain I was just talking about, the ones that's supposed to stick to the walls, it just flew open as if someone ripped it open from the other side. And I turned around expecting someone to stand there, but there was no one there. So my initial reaction was get the person that opened it. So I looked out and see if anybody had just gotten out of the bathroom, but there was no one there. How does it just open up on its own? There would be times if you let it dry out after you got done with the shower, it would just dry off and then hang back to its position. But no, this was like flown open. And I'm not gonna say I was scared, but I was definitely confused and a little bit on edge. I just remember thinking what my parents had told me, you can let stuff into your life. And I thought, surely this isn't like one of those things where you invite a demon to come hurt you or whatever. I just felt uneasy. And to this day, I can't explain why. I think I told one person, my best friend, Ethan. I mentioned him in the story when I thought he was the one calling my name. I remember telling him like, hey, this happens. And I think his reaction was either like, whoa, dude, that's crazy. Or I don't know if you're messing with me, bro. But I mostly kept it to myself. If I told my family, they would either wave it off as being something crazy. They would try to find an excuse as to why it couldn't have been what I felt it was. Or just say, oh, you need to stop scary movies. We're currently building a shop, just like we call it like a shop house. It's a big house, but it's built like a shop, like a warehouse. But at the moment, we're living in an RV on a hill. To get around, we have a UTV, and it's one of those Ranger types. At night, I decide to head over to this little shed that me and my brother, that's where we're camping out, because the RV can't hold all 7 of us. There are 8 in the family total. My brother is still at college, but me and the rest of the family are just here waiting for the house to get built. But anyway, I'm in the UTV, about to drive over to the shed for the night, because I get up early in the mornings for work. And it gets pretty dark up here. It was about 9:20 when I head back, so it's dark. I get in the UTV and I take off the brake, I back up, and I start driving on the little road to the shed. And I look in the rearview mirror, just like this, how you would when you're driving. So you look at the mirror from where you're sitting, and it's a pretty small driving compartment because it's a UTV meant for like power sports and just driving all over the countryside. And the mirror is set in a position to where the glass that's behind you, that lets you look behind, the glass is plastic. I don't even know why I call it glass, but it's plastic, so you can see the reflection. So if you look at the mirror, you can see the reflection of the back of your head from the mirror. So you're seeing yourself and your silhouette. So it was super weird because like I was saying, I glanced at the plastic that was shown through the mirror, and I thought the silhouetted version of myself was looking back at me. Not like the reflection type, but as if the silhouette on that side had turned around and started staring at me just for a little bit. I'm sitting there driving. The silhouette version got up into the passenger seat, just started staring at me. And I was like, oh, heck no. I stopped and I'm waiting, just watching the reflection. Is there anything? And it had gone back to normal, but I didn't know if I felt threatened, but I just felt like, what the heck was going on?
While exploring the curiosity that I myself feel when it comes to the paranormal, Jaxon begins an experiment, and this time with a creepy doll.
I had a few friends, and one of them they liked to collect the creepy things from antiques, primarily dolls. And I had other friends that would take it upon themselves to get rid of it. I would always just say, leave the doll alone, treat it with respect. But I have a friend, and he grew up Catholic, and he's one of those types where if you see something that feels off, exorcise whatever it is that's inside. I just said, no, that's the worst thing you could possibly do. Not because I doubt whatever it is you're doing, the power of the Lord or whatever, but I'm just saying, if there is anything, don't anger it. And if there isn't anything, don't let something in. So I just thought, it's just a doll, treat it for what it is, and maybe it won't come alive and kill you. My friend, her name was Christina. She was telling me about the doll, and I said, hey, would you mind if I kept the doll for a couple of days just to do some experiments on it? Because she said that, I'm going to try to keep this very vague. I haven't actually asked to tell her this, but this is why I was hesitant. But she said that she's very sensitive to the whole spiritual realm. But she said that one time with the doll in the room, she would wake up in the middle of the night, and just because. But one of the times she woke up, she saw a pale lady standing in the corner of her room by the window with glowing blue eyes, just from the moonlight. And it was just staring at her. And she didn't know if it was being malicious or if it was just there. And she was really freaked out about it at the time. So I said, hey, look, give me the doll. I'll do some research on it. I'll just keep it in my place, hoping that something doesn't happen. But if something does happen, then we're burning this thing. And she was like, okay. So I took the doll for I just wanted to keep it over the weekend. And I had roommates at the time. It was the same roommates as before. And I told them, just look, don't touch the doll. This is my experiment, like my homework, and everything will be fine. So the first day, nothing happened. But at night, I set up the doll in the bathroom with the lights on and everything. I just wanted to keep it just in the light as possible. And I set up my laptop with the computer on, and I recorded it all night, just sitting right there in front of the camera. I wanted to see if it moved. I wanted to see if it tilted its head or anything. And that first night, nothing happened. So I decided to change my experiment a little. I would have my laptop just recording it. So like a FaceTime all night with the lights on. And like I said, nothing happened. The second night, I decided to change it because you gotta adapt and improvise when it comes to experiments, just in case something had give different results. So I decided to turn the lights off with the laptop having just enough light to where I could see it, but it would still be dark, and if anything was to come out, then whatever. That second night, there was no evident changes. When I woke up, I would turn off the laptop, but I would leave the doll there and just hope for the best. The third night, I decided to do something different with it. And I decided to take the doll and put it into the room in the open, right? Thinking, okay, if it's with us in the room, will it do anything? And I would have the lamp light up against the walls, just shining just enough on it to where it wouldn't wake us up, but the computer's still recording. And fourth night, nothing happened. So I thought, okay, maybe she was just exaggerating a little bit. Maybe it's just her being sensitive. But one of my friends, I decided to put it back in the bathroom when I'm not in the room with it, just in case something happens. And I keep my laptop in there, just because. But one of my friends, which I did not know, he had taken the doll and he had decided to lock its arm to one of the coat racks, like the towel racks in the bathroom. So he took the doll, it basically handcuffed it to one of the rails that would hold the towels. And I just knew that was a bad idea. I came back and I saw the doll locked to it. I'm like, which one of you did this? And he told me I'm not going to share his name, but he told me he had done it. And I thought, okay, that was a very bad idea because I still have no results, but this may be a game changer. And this is definitely when it gets weird. So instantly, everyone was super stressed. I was the one that was being most calm about it because this is my experiment, but I was mad because they touched my experiment, quote unquote. My other friends were freaking out, saying, okay, if this thing's haunted, why are we doing it with it? We'll just burn it. I'm like, no, this is one, her doll. Two, I'm not done yet. I haven't gotten any results. Give me a few more nights. And they said, fine. Over the next couple of days, they said that they could feel the presence, just the presence of the room, just the intensity of the situation. They just felt more stressed for no reason whenever they were in the room. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe something can happen. Just as an idea, I decided to go out in the town and hope for the best, hope that nothing happens. And all my friends were out and about. We went to a place called Culver's for dinner, just to get away from the doll in the room. We get back, and remember, I've been keeping it in the bathroom this whole time. Whenever I'm not with it, it's in the room. The bathroom, that is. Let me describe the room. Remember, there's 4 people. So there were 2 bunk beds on the far side of the wall on the left when you walk in. The bathroom's immediately on your left. And if you walk past the bathroom, you have a little sink that's on the outside there with the 2 bunk beds. You have a few dressers on the far end of the room by the window, and then you have more dressers on the right. And the bunk beds were built up of, aside the mattress, you had it was basically metal and wire and springs and whatnot. We get back, and the doll was zip tied to the underside of one of my roommate's beds to where it would be looking down on the person who had locked it to the shower rack. Zip ties everywhere. I was very nervous. It was a Raggedy Ann doll. But when I say this thing was zip tied to it, frantically zip tied. Its arms and legs and neck and everything, it was just zip tied to the springs underneath the bed from the top side to where it'd be looking down on the bottom bunk where he slept, he being the one who locked it to the shower rack. And I was interrogating my friends. I'm like, did you do this to mess with him? And they were like, no, we didn't do it, I swear. And we were all I was starting to freak out. Okay, maybe this is it. It just, when we weren't here, when I wasn't recording, maybe something happened. But either way, one of my other friends come down to all, he heard about it. He came in, took the doll out, and gave it to the friend that I mentioned before. That was I grew up Catholic, and that's when he decided to try to exorcise it. And he called me when he had just done his little thing. And he said, Jaxon, I'm really stressed right now. There's something different. There's something wrong with this. And I said, calm down. What did you do? And he was just very angry, for no reason. I didn't raise my voice or anything. But he was just saying, I told you this doll was a bad idea. Will I say that doll was haunted? Maybe not. But I definitely know that it brought out sides of my friends that I never thought I'd see. My friend who's tried to do the exorcism on that doll, he's very chill. The Surfer Dave kind of chill. And he was this on edge and aggressive almost immediately after being in contact with that doll. And my other friends who were very chill and on the rowdy side, they were just panicked. These guys, you would never expect them to. This got them freaked out. And never seen anything like that again.